how can I manage emergency calls without disrupting my regular scheduled work? I think inherent in that question is like, should I even offer emergency calls?
It depends on your model. It's all about the business you run. I scout my competition regularly. I'm guilty. Like I look at my competitors' reviews. I was reading one. I don't know. It must have been a couple of nights ago. I was sitting in the camper on my phone reading reviews, and that's what I do. Like I'm a nerd. I waste a lot of time looking, but I want to know. I want to know what's my competition failing at and where they're succeeding at, because that's how I can judge where I'm at and where I can grow. One of the things I read on a big competitor of ours, probably someone we bid against in one market a third of the time. I mean, it's very often that we're both showing up. Was the comment was a 1-star review on Google, and what they said was, I called them needing a repair, and it was some sort of emergency. It was leaking, and they turned me down and didn't give me a referral. They must be like everyone else, only chasing the big dollar jobs. And I'm almost verbatim on that. Like that's what it said. Now I get it. Last year we didn't even offer it, so I can't sit here and sit on my high horse and say that we've always done it right. And I don't even think we're doing it right now necessarily. But we ended up implementing one full-time service tech in-house that is just at everyone's disposal. So we have a meeting every morning, you want to call it a morning huddle, whatever you want to call it. We call it a touch base. Everybody goes around. If anybody's got anything for Zach to do, that's first. That's Zach's priority for the day. If Zach doesn't have anything to do, then we have some other agenda stuff that he does. But we try to address those things as quickly as possible. And I'm here to tell you, my goal with Zach is to break even. I expect to never make money off Zach. I went into it knowing that I probably wouldn't make any money. And at this point in the year so far, we're taking a loss on Zach. I think that's coming around. Like he's doing some profitable repair work right now. But the goal was to take care of the customer. The goal was to build that trust with all of customers. So the repair that we're doing today, I hope 3 years from now, I put that roof on at a guarantee because we took care of them. Right? We've seen that in our history. We have people that literally use us just because we took care of them once before. So the only way to do it though is to have he's a flex guy, right? You got a flex room in your house. If you got a bigger house, you've got a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house and a flex room. That room's for anything, just whatever it needs to be. Well, you need a flex guy, a flex employee, a utility guy, right? That's what Zach is for us. He's fantastic at it, and he's not super expensive. If you've got a little bit of a team, it's worth having him around. If not, as the owner, and I did this for a long time, I was the flex guy. So if that meant actually, to be dead ass with you, right before I left for Florida, I was out tarping a roof because a friend of mine called and said his aunt had a leak, and I couldn't get any of my guys there before it got dark, and it was going to rain the next day. So I went and tarped it. Step up. Like if you want to run a business, sometimes you got to wear all the hats, and that's just part of it. But at 7, actually, it was our date night. Me and my wife were on a date night, and my buddy texted me, and his aunt needed a roof tarp. So you know what we did? We finished our dinner. I stopped at the shop. I picked up a roll of felt and some nails and a ladder, and I threw it in the truck. Up to her house we went on our way home, and we tarped that fucker. Done. And guess what? I think we're putting a roof on it in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
take it for what you will, but there's something to it. You should be doing it.
Yeah. It's like you got to prioritize taking care of the customer, even sometimes that doesn't mean making a lot of money.
And I have a pretty sneaky suspicion that my sales guys are going to listen to this podcast. There's a very good chance of that, and I don't care because we had this conversation pretty openly. I've told you there. I don't have much filter. There's really not much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out for a second. I think you're coming back though.
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of filter. Don't worry about that. And but regardless, we had a sales guy. When I say take care of the customer, I live by that. Like that is all that matters. There's nothing else in business that matters other than the customer. Like nothing else matters.
Yeah.
So we had a situation where I had a sales rep, he's hungry, he's early, he doesn't have a lot of sales this year. He's trying to get, some commission built up. So he's trying to get jobs done and get that bill out, right? Because my guys don't get paid until I get paid. So he got a little bit over ambitious about billing. And he billed this customer knowing that there was a callback issue, right? We take no deposits. Our guarantee is we finish the project in full to your satisfaction before you pay us. He billed him knowing that there was a little bit of a problem. It wasn't much. It was 20 minutes worth of dumb shit, right? Like, not a big deal, but it was 20 minutes worth of shit that needed done still. I went as far as told him, you call the guy, you tell him just to ignore that invoice. Don't, that invoice doesn't exist. I'm gonna remove that. We'll be out tomorrow to get these issues addressed. And then once me and you walk the job together, then I'll get you an invoice. Like, the customer is the only thing that matters. Their satisfaction is the only thing that will give you a successful business.
Yep.
I say that, I'm sure I've got a couple pissed off homeowners out there. Like, I'm not perfect.
Everyone does. Everyone does.
You work really freaking hard
to try to
satisfy everybody.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I like the caveat that it's like, yeah, if maybe you're too small to afford that. All right, you're that. Like, you're
that.
It's
I was that until this year.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing it. Like, I still am not above that at all.
Yep. I think, not to go down a rabbit hole, I think there's a lot of good stuff to be said for like, EOS and like the EOS system and like all the what is I'm blanking out on the book, but it's like trying to work on the business, not in it. But there's steps to it. At the end of the day, like, you gotta actually get it done for the customer, and like you can't go from working in the business and then just go immediately to working on the business and then just leave everything undone. That's not how it works. You got to still get everything done. So you got to kind of gradually step out of the day to day. And I think it's a trap that I think a lot of business owners jump or fall into, which is like, oh, I know I shouldn't be here, so let me try to jump completely out of the business. But then promises get left undone. The customers are unhappy. So there's consequences to that.